These are the basic objectives given in the detailed project report of the project itself. Reduce risk of flooding, clean the river and make it pollution free, retain and replenish water, create a continuous public realm along the river, conserve and enhance heritage structures. These are their objectives. Now we have to see whether these objectives could be achieved in this project. But before that, let us see the present status of the river. As of now, water supply to the city from various dams is 1350 MLD, that is million liters per day. As per our estimate, groundwater extraction every day is 310 million liters. So total consumption is 1660 MLD. As per CPCB norms, 80% of the consumption gets converted into wastewater, that is sewage. So as per their norms, our sewage generation every day is 1328 MLD. As of now, our sewage treatment capacity is 507 MLD. Current sewage treatment capacity of all operating STPs of corporation. They have proposed a new project, that is JICA, you mentioned some time back. Total capacity, proposed capacity of JICA is 396 MLD. Current capacity plus proposed capacity, it comes to 903 MLD. But even after completion of JICA, which is going to be completed by, say, in next 5 years' time, keep aside increase in population, keep aside increase in daily consumption of water, even if we consider today's sewage generation, there will be a deficit of 425 MLD in sewage treatment. So, even after completing JICA project, we would be discharging 425 MLD, that is 42,500 tankers of raw sewage in the river every day. In short, even after completion of these projects, the water in the river is going to remain highly polluted. We must think of the impacts we are causing on the downstream side, particularly Ujni Dam. On the downstream, it is Ujni Dam on Bhima River. This is a tributary, Mula Motha is a tributary of Bhima. Only one species of fish can survive, that is tilapia. And it can survive practically in sewage. No other, earlier there were 70 species. Now only one species survives. And that also is not a native one. The fishermen are suffering with innumerable skin disorders. The water cannot be used for agriculture purpose. Cattle are suffering from various diseases because they drink this water. Not only that, even the human beings, particularly this belt is now being known as kidney stone belt, because there are many cases of kidney stone. Then digestive system disorders, particularly cancers of digestive system and impotency. These disorders are rising on the downstream side. That is mainly because of the pollution we are discharging, and in a way, Pune and Pimpri-Chinchwad is responsible for this. So what are the impacts of this project? In spite of riverfront development, I have explained rivers to remain highly polluted, traffic disruption and tremendous air pollution, impacts of climate change are not considered at all, fabricated and fraudulent hydraulic study, steep rise in flood levels within the city, flawed environmental clearance, depletion of groundwater, irreversible destruction of biodiversity, floodlines illegally shifted to accommodate riverfront development, and monetization of river lands and public resources just to fund this project. So let us go into it one by one. City traffic disruption and rise in air pollution. This is Lakdi Pool. Malum hai na Lakdi Pool? Yeah. This is the, in a way, center of the city. These are the petas. This is the old core city. You can see this is Shanwarwada. Okay, this is Jangli Maharaj Road. This is Ferguson Road. This is Karve Road. Okay, and this is Mutha River. It flows in this direction. Right? See the bridges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 bridges are there in one frame. Now, this is a riverbed road. It starts, this is Mhatre Bridge. It starts from here, comes up to, this is Baba Bhede Pool near Jangli Maharaj Road. Then it goes like this almost up to Shaniwar Wada. And in the morning, thousands of two-wheelers, mostly two-wheelers, cars also, travel from this end to this end. I mean, from the Kothurud area, Erendavane area to the core city. Thousands of vehicles travel in this direction. And they come back in the evening. Now, it's another question whether a road should be built in riverbed or not. That's a debatable question. But as of now, that road does exist and thousands of people, thousands of citizens use this road. I came by that road right now. And for this project, this road is going to be demolished. This bridge, Baba Bhede Pool, is going to be dismantled. And see what happens while in public consultation meetings, these facts are never explained to the society. Not only this, 4 bridges are going to be dismantled. 2 bridges on Motha River, 2 bridges on Mula River. Now this is a table I had directly copy pasted from their DPR. This is not prepared by us. So this one of them is Baba Bhede Bridge. So these bridges are going to be dismantled forever. 7 bridges are going to be elevated at the same location. Now they have not gone into details whether it is possible or not. What traffic obstruction it will cause, disruption it will cause, whether it is possible, which technology needs to be adopted to elevate the bridges. Nobody has gone into those details. Now let us see this Tilak Bridge. Tilak Bridge is a bridge between, just beside Pune Municipal Corporation. Now they have given water surface levels and details of the bridges also. This is Tilak Bridge. Bottom soffit of the bridge is at 545.98 meters. These levels are from mean sea level, MSL. So 545.98 meters above MSL. And the output of Mutha River up to Sangam from Hekras, that's a software they have used for flood discharge of 100-year return period in channelized section. Channelized section means after completion of the project, they are going to channelize the river. So after completion of the project, at Tilak Bridge, WS elevation, water surface elevation is going to be 547.93, almost you can say 548 meters. Okay, so 546 meters and 548 meters. There is a difference of 2 meters. In short, if you will have to elevate that bridge by 2 meters to see that it doesn't cause any obstruction, it doesn't cause any impediment to the flow of water. Now what is the situation? This is the road, main road behind corporation. Corporation building is here. Okay, this is river, Mutha River, and this is that Tilak Bridge. See, the bridge starts right at the edge of this main road. Now, if you elevate this bridge by 2 meters, how do you expect the vehicles to climb up by 2 meters on the bridge? Will they climb up by a ladder or a step? Or how? It's impossible. 2 meters, you have to provide minimum 20-25 meters a ramp to climb up 2 meters. Now, where can you provide the ramp? There is no space. The river edge is here. No thought has been given to this. This is just one example. Now, no consideration of climate change. In 2009, central government directed all state governments to study the impact of climate change in their own states and come out with their mitigation plans, adaptation plans. Maharashtra government gave that work to TERI, that is Pachauri's Institute in Delhi. They filed a report in 2014. Basically, they divided Maharashtra state into 6 divisions. This is Pune division, okay, and what they have said, projected increase in monsoon rainfall, annual rainfall in Pune division is going to increase by 37.5%. So 37.5% rise in annual rainfall is huge. It's huge. And in fact, we are experiencing it much earlier than what is stated in this report. Not only that, they have clearly mentioned in that report that on one hand, annual rainfall will increase, but rainy days will reduce. That is, there will be more occurrences of cloud bursts. So, more risk of flooding, obviously. So, no thought has been given to this. In that report, they also have mentioned key recommendations for water resources sector: conservation and renaturalization of rivers and water bodies. Conservation and renaturalization of rivers. This project is completely diametrically opposite of this. There is no conservation and renaturalization. Further, they also have said retain and conserve the riparian zones and renaturalize existing wetlands. Enhance native vegetation, formulate stringent policies to prevent the dumping of debris and waste in these zones. Retain and conserve riparian zones and renaturalize existing wetlands. They are completely reclaiming the wetlands by constructing walls and reclaiming the wetlands on the outer side of the wall. Hundreds of acres, if not thousands. There will not be a single square foot of wetland. No native vegetation. And this project is nothing but dumping debris and construction on these wetlands and riparian zones. So it is totally violating these norms given by in this report. Now there are 3 important components of the DPR. This is the main report, then hydrology, draft report, hydrology and hydraulic, and this is the final report. In these reports, it's 791 pages of these 3 reports. Climate change, these 2 words are not mentioned even once. So it's not considered at all, no consideration has been given. Now, fabricated and fraudulent hydraulic study leading to steep rise in flood levels. This is little complicated, little technical. Let us see. Now, output of Mula River. Okay, output of Mula River up to Sangam, that is, its Sangam with Mutha River confluence for flood discharge of 100-year return period. Okay, so what they have given, the water surface elevation, this is in the current natural riverbed. Okay, natural riverbed, the water surface elevation is 544.32 meters. मतलब पानी वो लेवल पे आएगा. 100 साल में जो बाढ़ आती है वो बाढ़ आएगी तो पानी ये लेवल तक पहुंच जाएगा. And now they have worked out the level with the same the 3971 cubic meters per second. For the same flow, water surface elevation, flood discharge of 100-year return period in channelized section is 544.85 meters. So, the water surface level is rising actually. It is rising by 1.53 meters. So, after channelization, After completion of the project, the water they have what they claim, they are continuously beating drums that the flood levels are going to recede. But here in their own DPR, if you correlate these two figures, see, this is serial number, this is the last reading. Okay, see the minimum channel elevation 536.48, 536.48. So it is at the same location. Water surface for level for 100 years flood in the present riverbed is 544.32. After channelization, it will be 545.85. So 5 foot, the flood level will rise by 5 feet as per their own figures. Now, flow from free catchment is not considered. When we receive flood, suppose 1 lakh or 3000 cumecs are being discharged from the dam. So say that is X, plus there is always rain on the downstream side of the dam between the dam and the city. So that flow is also added into the rivers. So say that is, if that is Y, then we have to design the flood lines. We have to see to it that the riverbed carries X plus Y. So discharge from the dam as well as flow from free catchment. So that is not considered. See, this is the first reading of Mutha River. First reading, they have considered 2835 cubic meter per second, and this is the last reading after 10.4 kilometers. It's the same reading. In between, there are innumerable streams. Even I will tell you about one single stream, that is Ambiloda. In 2019, Ambiloda flooded and 26 people lost their lives. It has a carrying capacity, maximum capacity of 650 cumecs. One single stream. That is not considered. That is between this and this location. And there are many such streams. As per our calculations, actually the flow from free catchment area is more than the discharge of dams. More than discharge of Khadakwasla Dam. So fine. This is Mutha River. Okay. This is Sangam. This is Mula River. And this is Mula Mutha River. Right? This is Mutha River, and see the streams. All these blue lines are various streams. This is a map prepared by one prime move organization for corporation. So it is with corporation, all this map. They have not considered a single drop from all this area. And what does the law say? This is the circular by Water Resources Department, dated 16th November 15. For demarcation of restrictive zone, that is a red line, flood to be considered is as under. This is for river without dam, and this is for river with dams, which is our situation. All these rivers they have dams on the upstream side. Spillway design flood plus 100 years return period flood from the free catchment area below dam up to point of study. Means spillway design flood means the peak discharge of the dam, and 100-year return period flood from the free catchment area, which I have explained, they have not considered at all, and they have accepted it. Now, do you think that they don't have the data of the flow from free catchment area? No, it's not like that. That is also mentioned in their DPR. This is the funniest part of it. That is mentioned in their DPR, flood discharge of balance catchment after deducting dam catchment for 100-year return period flood. 993 cumecs, almost 1000 cumecs. That is 100 tankers per second. They have that figure. This is on too much conservative side. The actual figure is much more than this. But whatever it is, they have not considered anything from this. So how can you expect that the flood levels will recede? Now, see, Mutha River meets Mula River, and after that it is called as Mula Mutha River. At confluence, the water surface level for 100-year flood is 543.98 meters in Mutha River at confluence, just before the confluence. In Mula River, it is going to be, it is 544.32. This is as per their say, as per their study. I don't say that it is the factual situation. And in Mula Mutha River, it is 546.70 meters. Now, do you see any contradiction in this? Now, water surface elevation for 100-year flood in channelized section. So, after I'll come to that point. After channelization, Mutha River will be flowing for the same flow at 544.10 meters. Means there will be a rise in flood level by 16 centimeters. In Mula River, which we have seen earlier, the rise is of 1.53 meters. And in Mula Mutha River, the flood level goes down by 5 centimeters, means 2 inches. This is as they have claimed. All these figures are from their DPR. I am just correlating these figures. So, in two rivers, the flood level is rising by 16 centimeters, almost 6 inches, and 1.53 means 5 feet. And in Mula Mutha River, it is going down by 2 inches. Do you think we should pay 5,000 crore rupees for this? Now, Mutha River at confluence is 544.10. Mula River is coming at this level. So, there is a level difference of 1.75 meters, almost 6 feet between these two rivers. ये पानी इधर आएगा, ये पानी इधर आएगा. Do you see, have you any time seen so much level difference at confluence? And forget about that, what you said, Mula Mutha River will start flowing at 546.65 meters, means 2.55 meters above Mutha River. Matlab on the downstream side, the level of water is higher by 2.55 meters, means 8.5 feet. How can it happen? This is not a Harry Potter movie. The water flows down. The water doesn't climb up on its own. So what will happen? This is the Mutha River, this is Mula River, this is Mula Mutha River. Okay. So this at this juncture, water level is 544.1. Here it is 546.65, 545.85. Now forget about this. Let us consider only these two rivers. Okay. So what happens? In their portfolio, drawing portfolio, they have shown like this. The water flows down, 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 down. Here it climbs up and again starts flowing down. This is a longitudinal section, drawing portfolio, page number 43. So actually what will happen? They should have done the reverse calculation. If the water level at confluence is this, then Mutha River water surface elevation will start going up from this point, like this. So the actual level of Mutha will be like this. Now see how many bridges will be submerged. Now yes, out of this I have drawn only this line. All these figures, this drawing is from their DPR. Same case with Mula River also. So this is Mula River. This is the location of its confluence with Pune River. It flows down, then it goes down, then again comes up. And see, it's much above this. How can it happen? Water never climbs up on its own. So the actual water level will be like this. All these bridges will be submerged. So this is the way they have conducted their hydraulic study. Now this water surface elevation of Mutha at Sangam has to be little higher than Mula Mutha, that is higher than 546.65. We have seen that at Sangam, Mula Mutha river will start flowing, first point is 546.65. उससे 10 सेंटीमीटर ऊपर रहेगा तो भी मुठा रिवर का end point water surface elevation will be at 546.75. Okay, but what they have claimed, it will be at 544.1 in their own DPR. You have seen it. So actually, thus there will be a minimum 2.65 meters rise. 546.75 minus 544.1 above than what is being projected. So the water surface level in Mutha river will rise only because of this error in their calculation by 2.65 meters. In addition to that, as per our calculations, due to that 993 cumex flow from free catchment area, the water level rises by 2.5 meters. Thus, the total rise in Mutha river alone, that's the main river flowing through the city, will be 5.15 meters, that is 16 feet 11 inches, almost 17 feet than what is projected in the DPR. And this is sanctioned. This is the original riverbed cross section from their own DPR. This is once in 100 years flood line, red line, once in 25 years flood line, blue line. This is the total natural width of the riverbed. Now they are going to construct these concrete embankments on both the banks. So, and these embankments will be completely filled with soil on the backside. So these floodplains are going to be reclaimed to create artificial gardens over here on this face, and it can be used for various purposes. Now what they claim, after reducing the width of the river from this to this, it is said that the flood levels will come down. So existing red line will come down by 2 meters, even below earlier blue line, and blue line will come down by 3 meters. So the water carrying cross section itna se itna ho jayega. How is it possible? This is another cross section. This is the original profile of the riverbed, this dotted line. Now these floodplains will be reclaimed with embankments and soil. These lands, these artificial reclaimed lands, will be used for food plazas, restaurants, parking, and pathways and whatnot. It will be commercialized, and the natural width will be from this width, it will be reduced to this. This is another cross section. Now this is the natural riverbed. These are the proposed embankments. At many locations in the city, these embankments are above the surrounding ground level. Now river is not a canal that carries water from point A to point B. At many places from point A to point B, there are streams, not only streams, but surface water also comes to the river. What will happen to that surface water if these embankments are above the ground level? This surface water will get stagnated on the outer side, and this will cause pluvial flooding. Flooding because of flowing water is fluvial flood, and flooding because of stagnant water is pluvial flood. So there will be pluvial flooding at multiple locations in the city. See, at all these locations, the cross section is being reduced. At all these locations, whatever cross sections we have seen. Here, they have given the cross section of the river in city. It will be like a trough, like this. Can you believe this is a cross section of the river? Rectangular. It's unbelievable. The width is 90 meters plus 7 meters step here and here. Okay. And this is not a river, this is a canal. If it carries clean water, and if it carries dirty water, it's called as gutter. Now, the bottleneck of the river in the city is just behind corporation. This is the Tilak bridge which we have seen earlier. This is corporation building. This is the bottleneck. The minimum width of the river at this location is 150.61, say 150 meters. Now from 150 meters, they are bringing down the width to 90 meters. तो 60 मीटर से नदी की चौड़ाई कम कर रहे हैं. And they say that the flood levels will go down. So 60 meters wide land on both these banks will be reclaimed. 60 meter wide, 30 and 30 meter wide floodplains, all these are floodplains, will be reclaimed and used for commercial purpose. See how shoddy their drawing portfolio is. This is the blue is the color used for water. Now this is the cross section. Is it possible the water cross section will be like this? Will water remain at such a level, fluctuating level? This is the way they have prepared the DPR, and it is sanctioned without giving any thought, without even looking at it. पानी ऐसे कैसे रहेगा ऐसा? This is not soil, this is not mitti. Anyway, and in 2020, the commissioner, letter from PMC commissioner to the chief secretary water resources says that cross section of the river will be increased. Whereas in this is a 44 kilometer long project. 44 kilometer left bank and 44 kilometer right bank, totally 88 kilometers. So nowhere in these 44 kilometers, the cross section of the river is going to be increased. Everywhere the river will be pinched. They have shown the embankments, width is reduced, and the commissioner says that the cross section of the river will be increased. So this is an utterly false statement, misleading, misguiding statement made by commissioner. It's a criminal statement. Indian standard guidelines for planning and design of river embankments. We have seen that they are constructing the embankment right on the riverbed, on the floodplains. What does the Indian standard say? Alignment and spacing of embankments. Embankments should be aligned on the ridge of the natural banks of the river, where land is high. So these Indian standards are also completely being flouted. Correspondence from Water Resources Department and CWPRS. This is a letter written by Water Resources Department in 2018. Floodline maps are handed over to PMC in 2010 and 11. As these discharges and floodlines are final, there is no question of our approval to any other report prepared by any private organization and checked by CWPRS. They had sent this for checking to Irrigation Department, this project. Irrigation Department flatly refused that whatever we have given the floodlines in 2010 and 11 are final. We are not going to check anything. In 19, they have given a letter. No change is permissible in the flood data and flood lines finalized earlier by Water Resources. While implementing the riverfront development project, care should be taken that the flood carrying area, that is cross section of rivers, is not reduced. This is a very important statement they have given. Cross section of the rivers should not be reduced. In 21, the flood discharges and flood lines given to PMC in 2010 and 11 are final. We have observed variation between these and the reports prepared by private organization and checked by CWPRS. See, this is a very critical statement. Water Resources Department has given all that data and floodline maps in 2010 and 11 to PMC. Now they have observed some variation, tafawat, variation between the data given by them and the reports prepared by the private organization, that is the project consultant, and which are checked by CWPRS. In 21, again in October, Water Resources Department said there should be no impediment to the flow of river. Carrying capacity of the river should not be reduced. There should be no change in cross section of the river. Chief Engineer is authorized to take action against construction that causes impediment to the flow of water, Chief Engineer of Water Resources. PMC shall be responsible for possible floods and loss of life and property. So they have clearly indicated that there is a possibility of floods if you implement this project. Further, they have said that PMC shall be responsible for any further litigation in this context. They are expecting litigations also, which are going on. PMC submitted their hydraulic report to CWPRS and asked for their verification. In 2017, CWPRS gave them a letter that in light of above facts, CWPRS clears the report. They have not cleared the project. They have cleared the report on whatever data furnished by PMC, in which irrigation department has found variation. So CWPRS clears the report on hydrology and hydraulics of RFD project. This letter was given by CWPRS in 2017. When we asked CWPRS is the topmost organization, Central Water and Power Research Station. It is near I-18, Sinhagad Road, Institute of Armament Technology. Just before that, this CWPRS is there. So this they have cleared the report in 2017. We asked them that on what grounds have you cleared the report? In 21, they gave us a reply that CWPRS did not conduct any study for RFD of PMC. They have not conducted any study, and CWPRS is not the clearing authority in this matter. And PMC has continued everywhere. They have stated that CWPRS ने clearance दिया है, CWPRS ने clearance दिया है, whereas CWPRS has not conducted any study. Now, illegal and flawed environmental clearance. This is a huge blunder. They are going to construct 3 barrages. Barrages means small dams in the river at 3 different locations, and 1 dam that is near Bund Garden that will be modified. So, when PMC applied for environmental clearance for this project, they have to apply to SEAC, State Environment Assessment Committee, which is appointed by MOEF from central government. After the application, SEAC issues TORs, Terms of Reference, to the project proponent, in this case Pune Municipal Corporation, in which detailed terms are given how to conduct the environment impact assessment and based on which environmental clearance is given. So in that TORs, they are in condition number 24, they have clearly stated that the impacts of impounding the rivers through the construction of barrages shall be studied in detail and presented. So they have very categorically stated that you have to conduct detailed study of the impacts of these barrages. Now, PMC did not conduct any assessment of those barrages, and without that, in spite of the TORs, environmental clearance is given by SEA. SEAC recommends the proposal. SEAC issues the terms of references. Then based on that, EIA environment impact assessment is done. It is submitted to SEAC. SEAC studies it, and if they find it satisfactory, they recommend to SEA, State Environment Impact Assessment Authority, which also is under central government, and SEA in their meeting issues the environmental clearance. So, though PMC did not conduct any impact assessment of these barrages, SEA issued the environmental clearance stating project proponent informed that there are 4 barrages to be constructed at following places A, B, C and D. As the committee has no expert working in this field, committee has not gone into this aspect. Proper appraisal from proper authority in this regard is solicited. It is unbelievable. Basically, SEA it issues environmental clearance to huge dams and huge projects, airports and ports and factories, and they don't have any expert to assess the impacts of barrages. It's unbelievable. They just didn't want it. Matter is simple. And till date, no appraisal of barrages is done conducted by PMC, and they are going ahead with the project. They have floated the tender and they have issued the work order because they don't want to go into the details of barrages. We filed an RTI application to PMC on 5th of June 21 whether PMC has conducted cumulative and or independent EI and EMP's environment management plan for the existing barrage and the barrages proposed in the riverfront development project if prepared EIA report of the same. Even after 10 months till date, PMC has not given any response to this RTI query. Now, this was point number 1. Point number 2, proposed built area in the project. It was asked to PMC what is the proposed built up area, FSI and non-FSI. FSI means wherever there is roof, and non-FSI means open to sky built area like concretization, parking lots, pathways, walls, all that is non-FSI. So what PMC has given them, FSI area 0 square meters, non-FSI 0, so total built up area 0 square meters. So we are spending as of now 5,000 crore rupees for 0 square meter construction. When we check the detailed estimate of, not even detailed, the basic estimate of this project, actual built up area proposed FSI and non-FSI is 22.5 lakh square meters. 1 square meter is 10.764 square feet. It is 556 acres is the built area. 80% cost of the estimate, 80% of the estimated cost goes in concretization and constructions on riverbed. Remaining 20% kuch pipe ye dalo and landscaping. So retaining walls, RCC slabs, pitching, barrages, staircase, ramps, toilet blocks, food courts, parking, Ganesh Kund, Dhobi ghats and bridges. All these are having all these are the civil constructions on the riverbed. And they have said that the proposed built area is 0 square meters. See, middle level anchor slab 1,16,000 square meters, low level pitching 2,83,000 square meters, upper level pitching 1,40,000 square meters. See this finishing and slope embankments 3,91,000 square meters. So lakhs of square meters. Point number 3 is existing structures. They asked whether there are any existing structures. For environmental clearance, PMC said that there are no existing structures within the project boundary. So, actually, there are minimum 20 to 25 bridges within the project boundary. Check dams, weirs, temples, ghats, samadhis, dargahs, drainage lines, even slum pockets. We all know that there are so many structures, but while for environmental clearance, 0. This is the list of heritage structures from PMC site itself. Demolition, details of demolition with disposal. There will be no demolition. In estimate, they have provided lump sum amount of something 8.5 crores for demolition. Weirs, walls, heritage ghats, 4 bridges, riverbed roads, small buildings and causeway is to be demolished. But what they have said, there will be no demolition. So it's a completely fraudulent environmental clearance. It's deepening. During discussion, what SIA has mentioned in their minutes, during discussion, project proponent informed that no activity pertaining to deepening of river will be undertaken as a part of this proposal. But this is again their drawing portfolio. This purple color is earth cutting. Now see that color. Throughout the width, they are deepening the river by minimum 2 meters. See this 2 meters it's given here. Here, see the massive earth cutting. This is minimum 6 meters or something like that. So they are deepening the river. So in short, this DP environmental clearance is based upon completely fraudulent information furnished by the project proponent and their consultant. They are constructing RCC retaining walls, embankments on both the banks like this. This is the natural profile of the river bank. They are going to cut it into steps and filling over here. Now, there are two types of aquifers. Some aquifers discharge water into the river, and some aquifers take water from the river. Generally, aquifers coming from the hilly area, they bring water and they discharge. And these aquifers, they lower aquifers generally take water to wells and groundwater. So there are discharge zones as well as recharge zones. All these zones will get completely cut off because of these RCC walls, perpetually, irreversibly. Flood lines shifted in the DP maps to accommodate this project. Now this is Z Bridge. You must have seen Z Bridge near Deccan Gymkhana. Okay, this is the city side, Narayanpet side, and this is Jangli Maharaj Road side. Jangli Maharaj Road is like this. The Z Bridge is like this. Okay. Now you see where are these? These are the floodline maps issued by Irrigation Department in 2011. Okay. Now see the distance between these floodlines and this leg of Z Bridge, middle part of the Z Bridge. Here also the floodlines are just at the beginning of Z Bridge. Z Bridge. Now, this map was issued in 2011. After that, in 2015, 2nd March 2015, Irrigation Department came up with a circular that approval to the maps of floodlines and flood zoning should be given by concerned chief engineer. Only chief engineer of Irrigation Department can approve the flood maps. Authority to approve these maps cannot be delegated to the officers below the rank of chief engineer. No officer below that rank can approve these maps. In 2015, they came up again with another circular, the marking on maps regarding floodlines and on ground shall be cross-checked by ground truth verification. After verification, the regional chief engineer shall sanction the maps. So again, the authority is properly defined that chief engineer has to approve the floodline maps. In spite of this, one executive engineer issued floodline maps to PMC to incorporate the floodlines in the DP maps. These maps were not approved by the chief engineer. See, on 22nd of July 2016, these circulars were issued in 2015. In spite of that, subject regarding Mula and Mutha rivers floodline maps to be incorporated in the DP maps. Signed by Executive Engineer, Khadakwasla Irrigation Division. Okay, Karyakari Abhiyanta. Now these are the floodline maps issued by only executive engineer's signature. This is Z Bridge. Okay, like this. This is Narayanpet city area. This is Jangli Maharaj Road. Now, if you see the earlier original map, the floodlines were here, much away from this Z Bridge. And this side, the floodlines were at the beginning of the Z Bridge. Okay, these floodlines have been shifted now towards the center of the river to accommodate this dumping and this project. Now we superimpose these floodlines and the original floodlines in AutoCAD and check how much is the variation. Red line is shifted towards the center by 81 meters, blue line by 65 meters, and on this side it is 37 and 36.5 meters. 81 meters is almost 270 feet. So the floodline has been shifted by 270 feet without approval. And not only that, at many locations, actually these are floodplains. No construction should be allowed here. These are the old buildings. when we asked in the irrigation department whether chief engineer has approved these flood lines, chief engineer's approval letter to Mutha River's floodline maps prepared by GIS, we got a reply that such approval letter is not available in the office. So chief engineer had not approved these lines. The chief engineer came to know that earlier executive engineer has issued fraudulent maps to PMC. They immediately wrote a letter to PMC in 2020 that GIS based floodline maps were handed over to PMC in 2016 to incorporate in the DP maps. But now the floodline maps submitted in 2011 shall be considered as final. So they made their side very clear. Though we had given the maps in 2016, cancel it, and 2011 maps should be considered as final. In spite of that, PMC has started issuing building permissions. Now see, this is riverbed. These are the floodplains. This building and this building. These are old buildings. The position of blue line is somewhere here. Now this building is coming up completely on floodplains, completely inside earlier original blue line. This is a 16-storied building with some 3 basements. Now can you imagine if water is released from the dam and it enters into the basements of this building? This building is comprising some 125 tenements. 125 flats इसमें आ रहे हैं. So what will happen? And this is approved in 2020. I mean, after irrigation department told PMC that cancel the 2016 flood lines, they have issued this, revised these plans. We have filed a PIL in Mumbai High Court against these fraudulent flood lines. In that PIL, state government has filed an affidavit saying state government, after consulting the director of TP, will take decision regarding the modification proposal on merits. So state government has understood that there is some fraud while marking the flood lines, and they have clearly shown their inclination to modify the flood lines in the DP maps, but PMC doesn't want it. Now, funding by monetization of river lands, these are the suggestions given in the DPR, project financing, availability of land within floodlines, commercialization of the land within floodlines, availability of government-owned land for revenue generation. There are around 182 acres along the river owned by various government departments. And it is suggested that the development rights of these government-owned lands should be given to private builders to fund this project. Allow changes in the restrictive zones. These zones are defined by irrigation department. Prohibitive zone, restrictive zone. So these zones also they are proposing to change. So, I mean, safety of the citizens, no consideration has been given. In our one case in National Green Tribunal, PMC Commissioner has filed an affidavit that respondent number 1 means PMC Commissioner that is PMC undertakes not to permit in future any building construction activities within the blue line. They are violating their own affidavit filed before the court. This is the value given to judiciary by our local bodies. So, in short, rivers continue to remain highly polluted, traffic disruption leading to air pollution, impacts of climate change not considered, steep rise in flood levels, irreversible destruction of biodiversity, Water Resources Department directions are not followed, completely flawed environmental clearance, floodlines illegally shifted to accommodate this project, monetization of river land, and violation of Commissioner's own affidavit. So, these are the salient features of this project. Many people say that we just don't want the rivers to rejuvenate it. It's not like that. We all want it, but not by concretization and construction. These people have started chain fasting. So these people fasted for one day each. So these are some of the people. These project consultants conducted survey in public, asking their priorities. Now, 91% citizens said that what we want good water, clean water in the river. 89% said that we want the rivers to flow. 86% said that ecological restoration should be done. 76% said that it should be safe from floods. But none of these priorities are satisfied in this project. So, what citizens want is not considered at all. This project is based upon Sabarmati riverfront development model, and just see how that is today. This is the way it gets flooded. Similarly, these embankments, see these concrete embankments. Similar embankments will be along the river. And our rivers are far more flood prone than Sabarmati. Sabarmati has the immediate upstream dam at 130 kilometers from Ahmedabad, whereas we have dams within 7 dams within 25-30 kilometers. Khadakwasla, Panchet, Warasgaon, Temgar, Pauna, Mulshi and Kasarsai. 7 dams are there within 25-30 kilometers. So if these dams start discharge, and they are very close to each other, if these dams start releasing water into the river, within minutes it will hit the city without giving any time for evacuation. Here, the width of the river is 285 meters in Ahmedabad, 285 meters. And here you have seen they are proposing the width to be 90 meters, less than 1/3 of this. See the situation at 285 meters. What will happen if the width is 90 meters? This is flooding. This is water hyacinth. Now, Sabarmati actually is not a river. River is a water body where water flows. In Sabarmati, they have constructed a bund, a barrage here, Vasna barrage. So it is a stagnant water throughout the length. It doesn't flow. And it is not Sabarmati river's own water. This water is taken by a canal on the upstream, Narmada canal. So water is of Narmada which does not flow, still it is called as Sabarmati river. See this hyacinth. It clearly indicates that there is massive pollution in the river. Sabarmati ashram is here, just on the upstream of ashram. Yeah, so that's the end of it.